My life be like, yeah. My life be like.
What's up, guys? Here on 2015 Evo 10, and I'm gonna show you how to do a quick 10-minute oil change. Right out the gate, you're definitely gonna need your 10mm to get out all of the under tray, which I'll show you in a second here. You just get any standard size jack. I've realized that these little jacks, opposed to like being the big heavy, like race style or whatever, slim ones, with the big platform, these kind of go right into this little groove under here, which is really nice. The first little groove you'll find about right there, and that's about how far it'll stick out afterwards. So just a standard size. We're gonna jack that up in a second here, and then of course I got a jack stand for safety. Don't want to die today, and I think we'll call it like a 17 or something for the actual oil pan, which I'll show you in 1 second. Of course, we're gonna go ahead and we'll start this off and get a little ventilation in here because this is gonna go real quick. All right, I got this all jacked up. Of course, jack stand under. There's another little hole right next to that you'll find next to the jack stand, because like I said, it's got like a little groove for itself. For my jack stand safety first, of course, e-brake all super tight. You might want to chuck your back wheel too if that's something you want to do. And then yeah, this little under tray right here is what we're going to take down, which will then expose the oil pan as well as the filter. I kind of hand tighten this all on here, but I believe there's like 8 or 10 screws, something like that. And then that panel just pops out itself because you've taken the whole under tray out. So let me go ahead and get all the rest of these out here, and then get back at it. Guys, jumping back under here, I went ahead and grabbed my wrench from up top. We have a 17mm bolt as well as my drain pan here. This bolt right here in the second cubby, little silver bolt right here, is going to be your 17. You're going to go ahead and crack that. Once this is cracked, this is actually pretty much just hand tight. So I went ahead and loosened it, just that little break. Okay, position my shit a little better here. Then I'm gonna screw it. What I always do is I do have a baby piece of Teflon tape in there because I do it around the brim, not too deep in, just to prevent any tiny little leak. I'm gonna unscrew it, always pushing pressure onto it. That way it's not dripping in your hand, and whenever you feel that it's completely out, you fucking pull it. I dropped a bolt in there like a moron, which I'll have to fish out in a second here, but that's pretty much it. Alright guys, give it 5 minutes. Some people wait real long and let it fully drain, but as you can see, it's like hardly freaking dripping, dude. So a couple of drops, I'm gonna let that continue on, but as I said, of course, cap all loose on the oil cap on the top is loose from the valve cover. And right, we're gonna go to the first hole now, and this is where your filter's at. So of course, you know, let you loose it, you're gonna pull this out. As you can see, I actually put like a little rag down here because the way this bumps up is as far as it can be, but it's definitely gonna drain and drip a little bit. And I'd rather have it get on this rag so it's minimal cleanup. Again, as you're screwing, be putting pressure up because this is you don't want to fall. There it is, but don't fall out. All right. And usually what I do is, as soon as it comes out, it's gonna be dripping on this side, like on the other side of me. But I went ahead and just drained it like that, flipped it, boom, it's done. Alright guys, got the oil pan bolts out of the oil, as you guys saw me drop it in there. Fish that out, but now I'm just going to put this up here just to show you that there is a little Teflon on there, as you can see. And when I say put it on the tip, I didn't mean tip, more like against this. So you don't want it up here too much because you definitely don't want any Teflon getting into your oil at all. So you do the first couple ribs there just as a preventative for it to be leaking through, and that'd be that. So now I'm going to go ahead and peel all this off, and then we will put some Teflon on. I always kind of roll some out, getting rid of this bullshit at the end. Breaking out, putting my finger on it, breaking off a fresh piece, so it's nice and even across the way. And again, you're not going to wrap this too much. I'm actually going to kind of wrap it almost like this to start off, almost hanging over. Trying to keep it as flat as possible so it doesn't get skinny and bunch itself up. It's actually too high. I don't want it too high. Again, you know, I would say like a maximum of 3 little ribs you want to go up, because this shit's going into the oil. So. Alright guys, and just to show my oil selection, I have changed things from one to the other. This always took full synthetic Mobil 1, like standard, from factory style. I did the extended performance, which most people do, but with the whole turbo upgrade, I decided to switch things up. I'm doing now the AMSOIL Z-Rod right now, which is supposed to be great against corrosion and all types of oxidation buildup, blah, blah, blah. And I did change to a Wix filter, just in case you have to look that up. Yeah, part number 57092, if you do change to something of that nature. I'm gonna go, this is the end of my case from the Z-Rod, so I'm gonna switch to the full synthetic and try that out as well, which has been recommended to me. Zero complaints with this, but you know, always willing to try something different. Alright guys, now it's time to put the filter on. First thing I like to do is take a little of the oil, your new oil. You're gonna want to get this little rim wet, this little rubber rim, and like anything in your finger, make sure you get it real wet. What it's gonna do is help you when you actually go to take it off, or not to get kind of jammed up on there. Or so I've been told my whole life. Maybe I'm a moron. Maybe a mixed combination. I'm gonna go ahead and slide that out the way here. Jump under here. Again, first little cubby here. Just gonna screw that right in, nice and light. Alright guys, now we're back to the final thing. I got my 17mm back down here. My bolt with the little bit of Teflon, as we saw earlier. If I get this up, whatever. We're gonna go to the second cubby in the back here. Get a better angle on it. And obviously it has just a little bit of residue dripping still for us. So. And don't ever over tighten these. You don't want to ruin the threads on them, as well as ruin, especially on the oil pan. So I've always been cautious because I have stripped them in the past, like on an old Honda or an old Integra I had. So I'm always weary of it. So I just bring it a little tight and then just give it a little pop to it, and that's that. We can go ahead and grab that. Pull this, holy slishy sloshy, dude. Boy's getting crazy right now. Pull that nice and slow, bring that over here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on. So, I like to keep my tools with and stuff I do. So I got my 10 right here. Go ahead and slide all these off. These 8 bolts. On the side, put this over and let's put it back down. Alright guys, going back under, obviously your tray's going to go right back where you took it off. So getting your screws prepared for yourself, put them in only a couple threads in, just hand tight, like hardly, until you have every single one of them in. Because if you don't, what happens is like 1 or 2 of them will end up being off the alignment, and you won't be able to get those in, and you'll have to loosen them all up. Just to save yourself a little bit of time and headache. Just hand tight, and then that's all back to connected. Got every bolt back in there. Again, just evenly put them on there with just a couple screws so you don't lock yourself out of one of them, and then that's that. You're gonna go ahead and take your jack down, jack standoff rather. I typically will come around into the car, just letting the e-brake down for a second. Just kind of settles the car to give it perfectly even again. Alright guys, now we're back up to the top here. We went ahead and put the car down, got everything out of the way here, put our tools back. Now just go ahead and all we have to do is fill it up. I got 5 quarts back here because it takes 4.4 quarts of oil to fill this up. I'm gonna get it filled, start it up for a couple minutes, let it settle, and then check our oil level. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take this funnel right here, and you're gonna throw it on the ground because we're not some kind of bitches, and we're just gonna pour it like men. All right, and that's it for your Evo 10 oil change. Go ahead and start it up, let her warm up. Check your oil afterwards, top off if needed, and you're all done. Hope this made it really easy for you guys. Any questions, comments, likes, subscribe, do the whole thing, and we'll see you guys soon.
Sometimes I fall, I say,